putting God first can be difficult. What can we learn from David that will help us put God first in our lives today? King David is remembered as a hero in the history of the Israelites. And, without a doubt, his most significant moments were those when he accepted the call to put God first. When his fellow Israelites were shaking in fear from the giant and his insults, David put God before his protection. Picking up a few stones and facing Goliath in the name of Jehovah seemed foolish to others. But David put God first, and God delivered him in that battle. Then, David was secretly anointed king, started working in King Saul's palace, and married the king's daughter. You would think that his life went from glory to glory after all this, right? Well, it did not. King Saul and his soldiers persecuted David as the greatest terrorist in the kingdom. Nevertheless, even during these frustrating and confusing circumstances, David put God first. When he entered the camp where King Saul was sleeping, he could have killed the tyrant and become king. After all, wasn't he already anointed? But David knew that by using his own hands to take over the kingdom, he would become king by his own works and not by faith, trusting in God's supernatural action. So, he decided to put God first, waiting for God's appointed time for him to become the leader. David didn't always put God first. His adultery with Bathsheba and her husband's killing were clear examples of sins David committed when he put himself first. But eventually, David took responsibility for his sins and repented. By the end of his life, he could not accept that his house looked better than the house of God. He vowed to do everything he could so God's house would be better than his palace. David put God first. His example compels us to do the same. As the deacons collect our tithe and promise, we are challenged to put God first.